One of the greatest struggles with this game, and this has been true since the beginning, Lori Allen is the voice of the Joy, also known as the boss, the OG boss, and she's also the voice of Pearl the Whale from SpongeBob, and I can hear it. I'm good with voices, so like I can hear Pearl the Whale every time she says something really badass, and it does, I don't know, I love it, but it does pull me out of the moment just a little bit. So the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 is out, and I am a giddy boy. This game is really, really true to the original. It feels good, it feels upgraded, it's taken a few things from Metal Gear Solid 5, from the more recent games, that make it feel a little more playable, feel a little more like interesting. As I go through this video, you're gonna have to correct me in the comments, because I'm not sure exactly how much of it is new and how much of it is just that they made it look nicer, because the voice actors are the original, they're using the original sound clips, and yet I swear that when I was a kid, when this first came out, I just missed a lot of the political intrigue, but like I feel like I'm getting a lot more details about like Khrushchev and the internal civil war that you end up falling into while you're trying to get Sokolov back across the Iron Curtain. Such an incredible game. This is, you might have noticed from my YouTube avatar, Metal Gear Solid series is one of my favorites of all time, and Snake Eater, the third Metal Gear, is basically my favorite of the whole series. 5 also pretty good. It's up there as one of my favorites, but 3 was really, really perfect for me. I've been busy. I haven't gotten as far as I wanted to, so a lot of this footage you're going to see is from the very beginning, but they nailed it. Everything looks cool. It's that anime style military thriller, American military thriller with like anime superpowers. So cool, so good. Intrigue back and forth, people defecting, changing sides, all that stuff. The things that I loved about Metal Gear 3 were the healing system and basically this whole survival system. The eating system is what I was going to say. If you're not familiar, how it works is Snake is so far behind enemy lines that he has no food, and if he falls off of something, or if he gets burns or leeches or bug bites or anything like that, if somebody cuts him with a knife or shoots him with a bullet, you have to deal with that or he'll be injured. He'll continue to be like physically impeded until you address those injuries. That made it through in the remake. They did simplify it a little bit. So like in the original game, you'd have to do things in order, for example. So if you had a bullet wound, you couldn't bandage the bullet wound and then like suture underneath the bandage and then take the bullet out. That doesn't make sense. You'd have to do it in order. You'd have to take out the bullet, suture it, antiseptic, bandage. This one, it does seem to they simplified it a little bit in the remake. It does seem to just be like, I tested even, you can do it out of order for like, if you're splinting a broken bone, you can be like antiseptic, bandage it up, add the splint at the end. But so the only really penalty for doing it wrong now is that if you, and I tested this too, if for example you have a gunshot wound and you try to splint it, it'll just waste that splint. It'll just quietly punish you by achieving nothing but taking the splint away from you. But that exists. The eating system exists where you're hunting, you're like collecting your own food. Some is good for you, some is poisonous. You have to figure that out in the wild. That's like really, really cool. The dangerous animals I've been impressed with, like they immediately show off the survival aspect. And I haven't even gotten to the camouflage aspect, but that'll be next. But so one of the first things you have to do is like sneak around these alligators that you can't really take down at that point, but you have to like get past them. And if you go too deep into like the quicksand, you die. So it very early on, it like warns you that nature is going to be something to contend with, and that's one thing I loved about Metal Gear 3. It never really came back in the series in that way. The camouflage system. This was another thing I loved when I first played it, in high school. So the idea is you have all these different face paints and you have all these different military fatigues that you can wear, and they have different camouflage effects. So like if you're wearing like red splitter, which is an option, if you're wearing your outfit to blend in like an urban brick environment, like red brick environment, and you wander out into an open field of grassland, soldiers are going to spot you on the horizon. Conversely, if you like paint your face and wear fatigues that make you look like grassland, then you can basically like sneak up, just kind of creep up normally. And then sometimes you'll find yourself in the middle where it's just a weird environment. You don't really have camouflage for it. So you're doing your best with the camouflage and then like really approaching, crawling on your belly. That kind of thing really adds to the stealth, really adds to like, that's what I really loved about it, is like the jungle is hostile, but you can hunt animals for your food, or collect fruit. You can forage for mushrooms and things. You are getting hurt, you're getting leeches if you swim through a lake, and you have to treat those injuries. So it really is like, it's almost like an early version of the Green Inferno, if you've ever played that. I think that's what it's called. That might be the movie. Green Hell is the video game, I apologize. But the same kind of thing where the jungle is kind of always taking you apart, but if you know what you're doing, you can survive there like an animal. And then the camouflage and everything like makes it like really like, you're hunting enemy soldiers and taking them apart piece by piece. It really has that espionage part. I feel like the enemies, the NPCs, are like kind of Metal Gear 5, which I also liked, because they work in like units, they rove around together, they react like at different levels to different things. So once you get a sense of their AI, and it's it's pretty intuitive, it's realistic to how a group of unprepared soldiers would react to things. It really becomes like a Hitman game where you're just like quietly like getting rid of the stragglers, getting in closer, and like you can achieve things without the alarm ever being raised, which is really, really cool. There's one interesting thing right at the beginning. One of the settings, it asks you like, which is your favorite Metal Gear game? And it says like, you can choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can say I like all of them, and they all give different rewards like to start with. But I also feel like it might affect the button layouts and the play styles. And the reason I bring that up is because I haven't figured out, I've only had a few hours to play it last night, but I haven't figured out how to, in Metal Gear 5, you could kick unconscious enemies to wake them up and then interrogate them, and that doesn't really exist in Metal Gear 3 as far as I can tell. And then likewise, if a soldier was waking up from being knocked out, you could kick them to like reset them being knocked out, and I haven't found a way to do that yet. I wonder if I chose my favorite as Metal Gear 3, so maybe it's staying true to that original. I wonder if I had chosen Metal Gear 5 as my favorite, if it would have like let me do that, because there's a lot of interesting things you can do. You knock out a guy, you drag him where people won't find him, you kick him awake, then you interrogate him. If there's no interrogation to be had, then you can still like quietly deal with him in different ways. So I'm not sure if that exists, and maybe it's just my settings, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. That's a little bit of a downside, but the cutscenes are crushing it. They use the original voice acting, and the original voice acting was pretty good. All the graphics look better, so it really does look like this beautiful, weird anime military thriller. I am very, very pleased. I would recommend people check this one out. It's very, the fact that they use the old voice acting kind of forces it to not add too many new surprising things, but the way they do the scenes is even cooler. The improved graphic fidelity lets like a lot of the scenes where there's like close quarter combat and somebody like disables somebody else's gun, like disassembles someone else's weapon, like as part of the judo move, like that stuff is shown a lot clearer and makes it a lot cooler. I don't know, I'm really having a lot of fun with this one. I recommend people check it out. Leave in the comments if you know any of the answers to my questions there, like can you kill those alligators at the beginning? It doesn't seem possible. When it asks you what your favorite Metal Gear game is, what are the actual changes besides like the few reward items you get? Any tips you have for me as I re-explore this game? I've played the original, like 10 times, and I'm probably going to play this one a couple times. So I'd love to have a discussion in the comments, and I will talk to everybody soon. It does crack me up really bad. I guess this was in the original, and I was honestly just like too dumb to notice, however long, decades ago when this came out. But you have a big talk with Major Tom, Major Zero, where they're like, it's critical, there can be no trace of you. You can, if you have to eliminate people, knock them out, but there must be no trace, absolutely no trace. That's why we're giving you no weapons or anything. But the first cutscene pretty prominently, like deliberately displays Snake wearing a paratrooper, a Halo jumper's oxygen mask, broadly labeled U.S. Army. It says U.S. Army in like multiple cutscenes. And the first thing he does is discard that in the Siberian jungle or wherever he is. So that didn't make much sense, but it was some authentic Kojima flavor. If you like this video, feel free to like, subscribe, comment. I'm still trying to build this channel, just talking about video games I enjoy. We do a lot of Dwarf Fortress. I got a video coming up for that eventually, probably, and soon. Trust me, maybe. All right, goodbye. One thing I noticed is I feel like in the original game I was often like crawling on my belly, and it was pretty easy to like stab with your knife. That's that old meme crab battle, Newgrounds Flash crab battle. Like it was because you were often like on your belly and like poking animals to get them for food. This one I found it's easiest to like stomp most animals. Your CQC motion is like punch punch kick, and on the kick that boot, the mighty foot will turn most animals into rations. I feel kind of bad just like stomping everything to death to eat it, but it's been pretty fun. I